Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by GLORY Middleweight champion Simon Marcus. Simon, how are you?
I'm great, brother. Afternoon. Just relaxing. About to get ready for my next training session. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Simon, the name of the game is really random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So, here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
Flying.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? That's a hard one, but I'm gonna go with Scarface.
Movie you've seen the most times?
Another hard one. I'm gonna have to say I can't even answer that one.
Favorite color?
Red.
Favorite guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. Let's say I don't know, candy or something. Although I don't really eat much of that.
Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
Oh man, has to be Bob Marley. I Wanna Love You.
Simon, you claimed the GLORY Middleweight Championship when you defeated Artem Levin at GLORY 27 Chicago. The fight officially goes into the history books as a DQ due to a forfeit when Artem Levin left the ring, but I like to call it a TKO by confusion, because I was very confused about what was going on, but at the same time, I knew exactly what was going on. I knew that Artem Levin left the ring because he felt that he was not only fighting just you, he was also fighting against Al Wickers, the referee. So, on one side of the coin, I knew what was going on, but on the other side, I still couldn't believe that here's the champion leaving the ring in the middle of the fight. It was very, very strange. Now, up until that point, you were doing very well. I thought you were clearly winning the fight up until the point that he left the ring. So, overall, how pleased were you with your performance in that fight?
At this point in my career, at this point in my profession, I'm always critical of myself when I fight and whatnot. So, I mean, there's always improvements that could have been made, but I'm very pleased with my performance because I did exactly what I planned to do, and I was able to do what I intended to do, which was get the victory in a convincing manner.
What was the game plan going into that fight, and how well did you execute it?
The game plan going into the fight was just to make it my fight. You know, Levin has a style where he likes to hit you and then stop you from hitting him, whether it be tying you up or staying on the outside and kind of moving around, following the action. So he likes to control the pace, and with the style that I employed in this fight and in fights in the past that's worked on him is just to make it my fight. I don't fight at the pace he chooses. I don't fight at the distance he chooses, and at the rhythm he chooses. So putting him in that kind of circumstance, he doesn't have much options to defend himself other than holding or getting hurt. So he had to resort to his holding, of course, and he was put in a circumstance that he couldn't adjust to.
Obviously, in the past, you've fought against Artem Levin, so you knew what you were getting yourself into. And outside of him leaving the ring, besides that, was there anything in the fight that surprised you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I went into this fight completely ready for anything that was going to happen. The way it ended didn't even surprise me because I could clearly see that Levin was getting frustrated. He had no more tricks. He had no more options. So I could see that he was close to the point of breaking before that even happened.
Right now, you're 2-0-1. Really, I think you're 3-0 against him, but obviously there was that controversial draw, and really my opinion doesn't matter because I wasn't a judge at that fight. But I really think that you're 3-0 against him. I thought that you had clearly won that second fight against him, but as it stands in the official record books, you're 2-0-1 against him. And if this was MMA, you'd clearly be done with him because you've won the best out of 3, but Muay Thai and kickboxing and some of these other combat sports, we've seen guys fight 5 or 6 times against a certain opponent, even though that guy who they're fighting, they might have a big lead in the series over. So my question to you is, are you done fighting Artem Levin? Like, if you had your choice in a perfect world, if they offered it up to you and they said, well, you can say yes, you can say no, like, would you fight him again? Would you be interested in doing that?
At this point, for my own personal self, it's not something that interests me, because I've beat him, like you said, 3 out of 3, and I have nothing more to prove to myself or to prove to anybody. I've won world titles. I've proved I'm the best. So it's nothing in my own heart that wants me to fight him. But at the same time, if fans want to see that fight, if that's what the fight fans want to see, if that's a big fight fans would like to see again, or if it just happens that in the future he just becomes the number 1 contender in any circumstance, then yeah, we'll fight again. If he's the best other than me there is to offer, then I have no problem fighting him. But in my heart, in my own world, it doesn't really. I've already proven to myself and to the world I can beat Artem, and I'm the better man. So it's nothing that I'm really desiring to fight him again.
I saw your family at the fight in Chicago. Just curious, how did you celebrate the win?
The win, I celebrated with my family. I had over 25 family members come out to support me. It was an amazing trip. It was an amazing celebration, too. We just hung out in the hotel, laughed, ate food, had a couple drinks together, and that was it. And it was more than I could ask for, other than going out and stuff like that. It was really great to have my family there to enjoy it with me.
One thing I've always wanted to ask a champion for Glory, and you're the first current title holder for Glory that I've interviewed. I've interviewed guys who have later went on to win the belt, but you're the first guy who's holding the belt as I'm talking to them. So one thing I've always wanted to ask someone who's a Glory champion is, how heavy is that belt? Because that belt is obviously a very beautiful belt. Is it really heavy?
Dude, you asked the right question, because I have 5 other world titles, and I have 1 or 2 other amateur titles and stuff, but that belt is like 3 times as heavy as any other belt I have. It's the heaviest belt that I've ever seen or won. It's full of metal. It's a beautiful belt, and I'm quite. I feel it's quite prestigious to be able to hold that belt in the top of the kickboxing world, especially coming from a Muay Thai background.
Is the Glory Middleweight belt your favorite belt?
Absolutely.
You've got a fight coming up May 13th at Glory 30. How's training been going for the fight?
Training's been going awesome, man. I got a lot of good sparring partners, great pads, cardio, just keeping the body in shape and trying to get as sharp as I can leading up to the fight. It's a fight I'm looking forward to, and I think just a fight I can showcase my skills and make an example of what's going to be coming for a long time to come, with me being the champ.
When it comes to your training camps, you have more of the structure of a traditional boxing training camp. There's a lot of guys in Muay Thai and kickboxing and mixed martial arts that they train with a bunch of different guys, and even though they're preparing for a fight and getting ready to fight, they're still acting like a training partner for someone else who is preparing for a fight, and they have to go back and forth between, all right, we're preparing for my fight, and then this next go around, we're going to prepare for whoever I'm training with's fight. So there's this mix-up where you go from guy getting ready for the fight and guy helping someone get ready for their fight. That's how traditionally a lot of these super gyms and some of these other sports have done it, whereas in boxing, if you look at like Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao or some of these guys, they never are the sparring partner. They never help anyone else get ready for a fight when they have a fight coming up. So you have truly embraced that sort of structure to a training camp. When you're training for your fights, you're not helping anyone else get ready for their fight, and you're working with coaches that are there specifically to help you, and you have sparring partners there to specifically help you get ready for a fight. So you've embraced that boxing training camp structure. I'm interested in knowing how long has that been going on. Is that something you've always done, or is that something that's a recent development?
For the most part, from the beginning of my career until now, my training camps haven't varied very much, but the big difference is when I started Glory is I try to do a lot more work with my hands, getting used to the punching range, working on the outside, more sparring, and doing a little bit of boxing to keep sharp and try to stay loose. But it's something. It's more when I started Glory, so I started doing a little bit more specific toward kickboxing rules. But before that, it's been the same. Prepare as hard as I can. Test to push my body to its limits and sharpen my weapons, and that's been the recipe so far. It's been working, so I try to stick with that as a core and add little things to change, to improve.
You're fighting Dustin Jacoby. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
I don't know too much about Dustin, to be honest. I've watched a few of his fights now, and he seems like a good opponent. Big, tall, strong guy. Good kicks, good punches. So it's just someone I can't overlook. I gotta go in and perform my best as I usually do, and I'm looking to get a dominating performance. I think skill wise, I have the upper hand on him in that category. So I'm looking to go in there and showcase a good skill, show why I'm the champion.
Dustin Jacoby has won 3 Glory tournaments. He won a 95-kilo Road to Glory tournament. Then he won the Glory Middleweight qualification tournament, and then he won the Glory Middleweight contender tournament, and now he's getting this title shot. So he's done very well, and he's done even better considering where he's come from. He's a football player turned mixed martial artist turned Glory kickboxer. He doesn't have the traditional background that a lot of the guys who are signed with Glory have. He didn't grow up doing martial arts. He was a football player, and he stepped up on short notice and entered the Road to Glory tournament, and he won it, and now here he is. And he started off a little bit rough, but he's put some things together, and now he's doing very well, and now he's got this title fight. You guys have a common opponent, Wayne Barrett. You won a decision over Wayne Barrett to get your title shot in the middleweight contender tournament that took place at Glory 20, and Dustin Jacoby, 2 of his tournament victories, he beat Wayne Barrett in those tournaments to claim the championship. He knocked out Wayne Barrett not once but twice, so he's done very well, and he's won a bunch of these tournaments. He's kind of the king of tournaments for Glory. Have you been impressed by what he's done?
No. I mean, it takes a lot to impress me. Beating good guys or putting on good fights doesn't really impress me. Top level striking, top level, kicks, top level punch or techniques, that kind of stuff impresses me. I haven't really seen that from Dustin as yet. I still give him the credit for the wins, but I'm not going to say it's anything that impresses me or catches my eye in particularly.
Favorite food?
My favorite food, man. It keeps changing because that's the kind of person I am. I like things at different times, but I'm going to say all around, I'm going to go with some oxtail.
Least favorite food?
Least favorite food, I don't like to eat junk food, McDonald's. Don't catch me in that.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant, I'm going to go with Red Lobster.
Favorite TV show, and it can be a show currently on the air or a show no longer on the air, just overall favorite TV show.
Favorite TV show, wow. I'm not a big TV fan, but I'll go with Glory World Series.
Are you fluent in Thai?
I'm just about fluent. I wouldn't say fluent. Like, if there's a random conversation going on, there'll probably be a lot that I won't understand. But with the words I do know, I can pretty much communicate anything I want to say, or almost. So I'm close to it.
Hobbies outside of fighting?
hobbies outside of fighting, I like to make music. I rap on the side, or I used to. I don't do it so much right now. But I used to play basketball. Haven't had a lot of time to do that as well. But I'm more a family guy at the time. I chill with the family, the kids, take them to the park, play with them, spend time with them. If I'm not doing that, I'm either training or just relaxing with friends, kicking it, having a good time.
Celebrity people say you look like?
I've gotten Rampage Jackson before, and I've also got, what's the guy's name from The Matrix?
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. I've got those too. I don't know how accurate they are, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Rampage and Lawrence Fishburne. You might be a hybrid of the two. If those two had a kid, you might be him.
That's funny.
What motivates you in life and in fighting?
What motivates me is myself. And what I mean by that is, whether it's fighting, whether it's life or whatnot, I define myself as a winner. I define myself as a person who can accomplish and reach places that I set out for and things that I set out for. So whether I'm training in the gym, whether I'm in the ring, whether it's just a day-to-day thing, I always see myself as a person that's able to overcome circumstances and situations in order to take myself to a place that I feel I want to be. So that's what motivates me. It's proving that I am what I think I am, and it's highly motivational. Also, my kids and my family, building a future for them, and giving back to people what I've gotten so much of in my life. That's a lot of motivation for me.
Do you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions?
Pre-fight rituals, I pray before I fight, just center myself and be thankful for the opportunity to live my dream, and that's nothing to look past. Other than that, I mean, there's lots of stuff I do, but nothing super superstitious, and nothing out of the ordinary. It's more just a routine I've built up over my career.
Do you have any post-fight rituals?
Post-fight rituals, no. Sometimes you might see me, I do like a punch in the air. That's just like, I've done it, I've won, I've reached the top kind of thing. But other than that, it's just celebrating with family, friends, relaxing, and just looking back on the journey and being thankful for everything it's taught me and the places it's taken me.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world for a week, who would you trade places with and why?
I wouldn't trade places with anybody because I'm just I'm so grateful for my life and for who I am and for the opportunity to live the way I want to. There's no other person I would want to be, or I could even imagine being, or want to be. So I'm just going to say nobody.
If you could stay one age forever, how old would you stay and why?
Again, that's something that's wanting something that's not really in my control, and I believe the process of aging is a blessing. That's what allows us to pass through the earth and live life. So again, there's no special age I'd want to stay. I'm thankful every day for the age I am and for getting older and being able to live a life. So it's nothing that I'd want.
What's your official fighting record? Because if I go to your Wikipedia page, they have your Muay Thai record and your kickboxing record combined. And I've seen some different records for you on different databases on the internet, so I'm not sure exactly how many fights you've had and what exactly have been the results of some of these fights and what your win-loss record is. So what's your official fighting record?
On my kickboxing, on the Wikipedia page, I believe that's pretty accurate. It's something like 43-2-2, and that is Muay Thai and kickboxing combined. But yeah, that's pretty accurate to my that's my professional record, not including the amateur. If you include amateur, that's like another 20 fights or so. So I'm not even 100% sure myself, but I know that's my official kickboxing record. Muay Thai record is 43-2-2.
So when you joined Glory, that was the first time you had ever done kickboxing?
Not the first. It was the second. Pretty much the second fight. I did a tournament in a couple months before I joined Glory in January, and I had 2 kickboxing fights that night, and I won that tournament as well. I didn't do very well under the rule setting. I feel like I had a lot of adjustments to make, but that did help me get ready for Glory.
Both sports, kickboxing and Muay Thai, are very, very similar. There are differences with some of the rules, but for the most part, it's basically the same sport. Which one do you like better, kickboxing or Muay Thai?
I like Muay Thai better. I like to use my elbows. I like to clinch. The thing that I think differentiates good Muay Thai in Asia versus Muay Thai in the U.S. is a lot of the bigger fighters, they're not so versed in the clinch. They're not as good with the elbows or the kicks. So when you see them clinch and when you see certain things happen, it doesn't bring the same level of excitement as when you see smaller Thai fighters or execute those techniques. But overall, I think Muay Thai is the more exciting and more versed with the elbows and with the clinching. I think it's the complete stand-up, but I've grown to love different elements of kickboxing too, but my favorite is Muay Thai.
What exactly drew you to Muay Thai as opposed to a different style of fighting? Why not boxing? Why not MMA? Why was it Muay Thai? Because obviously right now Muay Thai, it's growing, but at the time when you started it was very, very small, so why Muay Thai? What drew you to that style?
Right, well, for me, it was just a matter of fate. Regardless of what, I just basically ended up at a Muay Thai gym. I always wanted to learn how to fight. I always wanted to learn how to fight, but walking into a Muay Thai gym, seeing the way they train, seeing how powerful the kicks were, seeing how powerful the knees, the elbows, the punches were, and having all these tools to work with, that was it for me. It was just something that I sat very comfortably with, and I felt just learning it and within myself that it was effective, and that was the most important thing. So I stuck with it, and I grew to love it.
If you weren't a pro fighter, what would your job be?
That's a great question, because I've never seen myself being able to do something that I don't love. I've never seen myself being able to just go to work every single day just to make money. So I really can't answer that question as for a job. Something else I do love to do is basketball, and I love to make music. Those are my loves. I like to make music, I like to play basketball, and I like to fight. So before I fell in love with fighting, I wanted to be in the NBA, and I got quite good at it, but I never stuck to it, and I believe if I had stuck to it, it was something that I could have gotten to that professional level. But it's hard to say. It could be anything, but most likely one of something I love to do.
What, quote, real jobs have you worked over the course of your life? What jobs not associated to fighting have you worked?
Before I started Muay Thai, I used to do construction for a bit when I was a teenager. I also worked at a dry cleaners for a little while, and also I was also a bouncer at a couple different places after I started Muay Thai. So those are pretty much it.
Are you married, engaged, dating, or single and ready to mingle?
I'm dating. I have a significant other in my life, and yeah, that's the status of that.
How many kids do you have, and what are their names and what are their ages?
I have 2 children and one on the way. So I have a son. He's 4 years old. His name's Zion. I have a daughter. She's 2 years old, and her name is Zanaya. And I have a baby boy that's due next month, and his name will be Zaire. So I'm going to have 3 kids next month, as of next month.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you is, why do you have a patch sometimes on the top of your head and sometimes on the back of your head? Why do you have a patch of hair? What exactly is this hairstyle, and what exactly do you call it?
I came up with a funny name for it, called the back bop. So it's called the back bop, and basically, a long time ago, me and my good friend Matt Embry, who's also a fighter, we watched a documentary. It was about an African warrior tribe, and they would all have these patches of hair on their head with designs around it, and I thought it would be really cool to do that. And I never really got it done, but then when my son Zion was born, he was born with just a patch of hair right on the crown of his head. So that's when I started that style and just kind of changed it up, switched it to the back, and just something to be a little bit different. I like to express myself, so it has something to do with African roots, being a warrior, and also just expressing myself.
Interesting, because I've never seen anyone besides you with that hairstyle, so I just had to ask you about that. Now, when you fight Dustin Jacoby, what's the hair going to be looking like? Is it going to be a patch on the top of the head, patch on the back of the head, no patch at all? What's the hair going to be looking like?
I don't know yet. I cut the hair, so we're going to see. We're going to see how much time I got to go back. It'll probably be gone by then, but we'll see. I might change my mind.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious about that. Favorite social media platform?
Facebook. I don't really use much social media, but most of my following, like my fans, are on Facebook because that's what I do use to communicate with people who live in different countries or just friends and whatnot. But yeah, Facebook, I would have to say, is my favorite.
Website you visit most often?
I would have to say either YouTube or Facebook.
Piece of technology you can't live without?
A piece of technology I can't live without. I'd say the one thing that I rely on the most is my car. You know, even phones, even computers. I'm not like a tech savvy guy. I don't have a lot of. I don't use apps or even data on my phone. I'm very simple and stuff like that. But I drive a lot, so I'd have to say my car.
You've fought in many different countries over the course of your career, so I'm interested in knowing, what's your favorite country to fight in?
My favorite country to fight in, or just my favorite country that I have fought in?
Give us both.
Okay, so my favorite countries that I've fought in, I would have to say, to fight in, I would have to say is Thailand, because the culture is so, everybody knows the fight culture, and when you're fighting, you have thousands of people around you that are totally into the fight and totally into it, and it's like an energy that you don't experience anywhere else, where the whole crowd's yelling, the live music is playing, and everybody's right in the moment. But also, I like to fight in America because people get really into it as well. You know, you have a lot of fight fans out there, and it's always a good time when I'm out there. But those are my favorite places to fight. And the favorite country I have fought in, or one place that I was really I really liked to see was Argentina. It was a beautiful trip when I went out and fought there, as well as I went to Tashkent, and that was a beautiful city, somewhere I would never see if I was probably never fighting. And yeah, those are some great places I've been. Everywhere I've been has been good, to be honest, but I just enjoy the whole journey of going somewhere new to experience and to fight.
What would you rather be? Would you rather be the best fighter in the world, or would you rather be the highest paid fighter in the world? What means more to you, glory or wealth?
If you ask me now, I would probably say at this point, I've already accomplished being the best fighter in the world, you know. So at this point in my life, it's more about finances and getting rewarded for all the hard work I've put in. But if you ask me, you know, before I won 6 world titles, it would definitely be being the number one. But as a person who's accomplished that already, for me, what I would rather be the highest paid fighter right now than the best in the world. But at the same time, I fight to be the best. It's my dream to be the best. But just because I've already accomplished that, I would like to be rewarded just as much financially as well.
What's the question that you're asked that annoys you the most, so I can make sure I ask it?
Let me see. A question that annoys me the most would be like, people usually ask me stuff like, how much do you deadlift, or how much weights do you push up, or what do they call it, protein powder I use and stuff like that. And it's kind of annoying for me.
Yeah. What kind of protein powder do you take?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. What's your pet peeve?
Pet peeve? It's when someone tells me to do something I was just about to do.
Do you have any regrets, whether they're personal or professional?
No, sir. No regrets. I'm healthy. I'm happy. There's my dreams. There's nothing I can regret about that.
If you could go on a $1 million shopping spree at any store, what store would you go on that $1 million shopping spree at?
Damn, I better think about this one. But at any store, I'll probably buy a car or something like that. $1 million shopping spree, Lacoste, buy some $1 million worth of fashion gear. I don't know.
Time period you'd like to go back and visit, and why?
I would like to go back and visit the times of the samurai, the times of when combat was real, because I feel like, today in modern society, of course we have wars and we have guns and stuff, but going back to a time where all duels were dealt with swords and with close-range weaponry, and each fight ended at death, it must have been what a time to be a warrior, and what each fight meant, what training for each fight meant. So I think I'd like to visit and see what it was like to be around in that kind of atmosphere.
Let's say you found a magic lamp, and you rubbed that magic lamp, and a genie appeared, and the genie said he was going to grant you 3 wishes. What would those 3 wishes be?
3 magic wishes. I would wish for everybody in my family never to get sick. I would wish for to have enough time and resources to create the life that have enough resources to bring my family together, and not everybody has to work every day, not everybody has to take care of responsibilities, but we just enjoy our time. And third, man, I don't wish for much in life. I think most everything that I wish for is attainable to me. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird question, but I don't know, man. Those are 2.
Save the third for a rainy day.
Yeah,
that's good.
Do that.
That's good. Best advice you were ever given through life, and best advice you were ever given through fighting, and who gave it to you?
Best advice. That's a hard one, but some good advice. I remember a Jamaican friend of mine who I met through another fighter, Clifton Brown. He was a businessman, and I was fighting in a tournament in China, and I didn't have a really good fight, and I was kind of harping on the fact that I didn't do so well, and I had a tournament, so I had another fight the next day, and he said to me, what's gone is gone, just focus on the future, just focus on now. You've already won that fight, don't worry about it. And that was really great advice, actually. It was something that stuck with me, not only then in the moment, but it still sticks with me today, not to worry about things that have happened, not to worry about the past, the way you want something to go perfectly, but just make the most of every situation, every day, and every opportunity. And
Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people are afraid of the dark. Some people are afraid of heights. What are you afraid of?
I don't have any fears per se. Like, there's nothing that really scares me, or I'm not afraid of dark bugs and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I just don't know. I've been asked that question many times, and it's not a thing like I'm afraid to say what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid to say what I'm afraid of, but I don't have any legitimate fear.
Right now, you're 29 years old. Are you in the prime of your career?
I believe so. I guess there's more years remain to show that, but I feel like technically, skill-wise, I'm better than I've ever been, and my body's just as strong or fit than it's ever been. So I believe, yeah, you could call this my prime.
Okay, because I usually say a fighter, when they're 31, 32, that's when they're in their prime. But if you say now, you're the boss. You say now. So,
so far.
What's your porn star name? If you combine your childhood pet with the street you grew up on, what's your porn star name?
So Leonardo Mint. Or actually Leonardo Wood. You got me laughing. That was a good one.
Okay, I know you said earlier that you've done some rapping in the past, so how about this one? What's your rapper name? If you combine your favorite cartoon character with your nickname, what would your rapper name be?
I think my rapper name, favorite cartoon character, would be Red Samurai.
You've trained all over the world. You've done a lot of cross-training during your career. I'm interested in knowing, when you go and you do cross-training, what are you searching for? Why do you decide to venture out and go to different gyms? Are you searching more for the knowledge and the coaching and working with different people who can mold your game? Or are you going out for the bodies, the fighters, and you can see where you are right now, and you can test yourself against guys who you normally wouldn't be able to get to train with you? What exactly are you trying to pursue when you do your cross-training?
That's an interesting question, because I have an interesting answer. Because when I'm training anywhere, whether it's in my gym, whether it's in Thailand, whether it's in America, anywhere I've ever trained, I don't always. I mean, there are times when I'm like, I need to improve this, and this is what I'm going to work on, and this is what I'm going to focus on. But for a long time, I don't always choose a particular skill or a particular a particular thing I want to work on when I'm going to a training camp. I kind of let it work in reverse. So I kind of align myself to the place or the person I think I need to be with, and just learn whatever I can learn from the situation. Whether it's about being around really good fighters that I can take that away from, or whether it's about, I've had pad men in Thailand that couldn't hold the best pads for me because I hit pretty hard, but nonetheless, there's always something you can learn. There's always something each trainer, each person that you could take away from. So I don't focus on one or area or other in particular. I always do my own thing, which is get myself fit, get myself sharp. But other than that, it doesn't matter who I'm training with. But I'm looking to learn whatever they have to offer. And for each person, that's different. For each trainer, that's different.
Do you ever focus on your opponent in training, or do you like to keep your attention and your focus on what you're planning to do in the fight?
I focus. I'd say it's most of the focus is on myself. If I didn't watch one video, one tape, it wouldn't change much of the way I train or what I do. But with certain opponents, especially like Levin, who I fought more than once, Schilling, guys I fought more than once, or guys that are at the top of the game that have a specific style. Of course, I watch their video, I watch tapes, and think how I'm going to use my skills and my techniques to to use a style that will make it less likely for them to be successful under their style, because I feel I am a fighter that's capable of fighting many different styles as opposed to just one set way all the time.
So how do you change up your training from when you're just training because you're trying to get better to you're training when you have a fight? Because there's some guys who they're training when they don't have a fight ready to go, they're just focusing on themselves, and then when they get the offer and they get the fight signed, they change up gears and go, all right, well, now I'm going to focus on how I can beat this guy. How do you, do you ever change up the way you train? Is there a difference between the Simon Marcus training that's not in camp to the one that is in camp?
To be honest, most of what I do when I'm training specifically for a fighter is in sparring. So I'll have someone kind of prepare me defensively for things that that specific fighter is known to be good at or known to use. As long as I'm sharp defensively and I don't get caught with anything by surprise, naturally my skill level and my weapons levels are better than pretty much mostly everybody I fight. So I feel when I eliminate the possibility of getting caught by something unexpected, I naturally win the fight anyway. So that's mostly what I focus on when preparing for a specific opponent.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Wow, the best thing that ever happened to me was becoming a father, I'd say, in terms of events in my life. Becoming a father showed me a side of life that I could never experience if I wasn't a father, and it just gives you such a different perspective on life, having kids of your own. So I believe that's truly the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
The worst thing that ever happened to me, it's hard to say because I've never had anything really bad happen to me that I couldn't recover from. And I believe a lot of the bad things that happened in my life were just things that set me up for greater things, for bigger things to come. So I don't know what the worst thing that happened is, but I was almost killed a couple times, and that could have been pretty bad. But I'm here today, so I don't know what it is.
Person you look up to the most?
Wow. One person I would say that I look up to a great deal is Bo Banshamek, Muay Thai legend and friend of mine. He embodies what it means to be a champion and a legend, in my opinion. So, I look up to him quite a great deal in terms of the way he lives and what he can do.
What do you worry about? What's something that keeps you up at night?
What do I worry about? For me, I think for me and for a lot of people, it's about relationships. At the end of the day, when everything's said and done, we all have our own personal journeys, but the people in our lives close to us and our family members and close people to us, I worry about the relationships I have with those people. Maybe if things could go better, if things could be smoother, or the relationships I have with my kids. If I'm doing my best, if I can do more. It's just about how I relate to people and how people relate to me.
What's your hidden talent?
A hidden talent? I would say I'm a pretty good ball player. I also rap, like I said.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those are things I say I'm actually talented at, that I'm decent at. I have some talent, but other things, I don't know. Maybe dancing.
Number one thing on your bucket list?
Number one thing on my bucket list now would be something I gotta do for that guy. I don't know, man. I don't know, because, I live my life, for me, the number one thing would be, becoming GLORY World Champion, but I've just knocked that off, so, who knows, maybe UFC World Champion.
Really? So you have an interest in doing MMA?
Sure. I've conquered Muay Thai world, I've conquered the kickboxing world, and I'm a person who loves the challenge and loves fighting, so maybe UFC next. Start going that direction.
Have you ever trained wrestling or jiu-jitsu? Or
I've rolled around with friends. I've rolled around in the gym a bit. Nothing I'm too versed with, but I have a small body of knowledge about more naturally than anything.
Last question, Simon. Let's say you are on death row and about to be executed. What would your last meal be? And I need an entree, a dessert, and a beverage. What would your last meal be?
Last meal. I ain't even going to answer that question. I ain't even going to answer that question, man. I ain't on death row. I don't like to think of stuff like that, so I gave you my favorite food already.
Okay. Fair enough. Simon, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
For sure. I'd like to thank In-Fight Style. They've been supporting me throughout my Glory career, giving me that fly gear you see me come out with. I'm going to shout out my training partner and friend, Howard, and also my manager, Frank, and Rob, part of the team. They're doing great work and help supporting me so far. All the fans that have been supporting me throughout my Glory journey and throughout my career, I appreciate it sincerely, and I just want everybody that watches my career, watches my fights, to be inspired by what I do, knowing that it's a person that fights for their dreams and lives their dreams to the fullest. So I want everybody, when they're watching me, to be able to see how hard I fight and why I'm fighting so hard, because I'm literally fighting for my dreams, and I want that to be inspirational to everybody watching. So tune in to the next Glory in Los Angeles, and I won't let you down. It's going to be an amazing fight.
Simon, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck May 13th at Glory 30 against Dustin Jacoby.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.